Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and start our webinar today. We want to thank you for attending the Pinnacle Quality Insight CAHPS Q&A session, Lunch with Angel. And we're really happy to have Angel here with us. She's an account manager, you probably know her, and she'll be answering questions for us today and giving us a great presentation. And I'm Kara Henry, and I'm the Customer Success Manager here at Pinnacle. And we want to remind you that we'll be drawing a winner for an Amazon gift card from those of you who registered for the webinar. And before we begin, we're going to start with some housekeeping items. First, I want to direct you to the control panel on your screen if you're joining us online. At the top of the control panel, you'll notice an orange arrow that points left. And if you click on this button, the control panel will open. And here you'll see some audio options and a question section. You can hear our webinar today either through your computer's audio or on your phone. A dial-in telephone number is listed on that little chat thing. And this is a broadcast-only webinar, so the audience is muted. However, we love to hear from you and invite you to share comments and interact with us by chatting and sending us questions by messaging us through the control panel. And below the audio option section is the questions section. If you have questions for Angel that you have not sent her before this, you can add to the questions there and press send, and we really love your questions. When you exit the Q&A session today, you'll receive a short survey, and we invite you to take a moment to participate in the survey. We really want this to be valuable for you, so please let us know what you think, what you'd like to see us do differently, or how we're doing well. We'll email you a recording of the Q&A session and any handouts that you might find valuable that we have. All right, so now that we have all that out of the way, I'm going to turn over the time to Angel, and I'll be interacting with you throughout the session as well.
Thank you so much, Kara. Well, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It is my pleasure. I have some great information to cover. I hope that you are interested in this topic, especially our topic, improving your CAHPS scores through systems. So remember, my main goal for these sessions is to give you an opportunity to help you make the best of the CAHPS process, but also to reach out with your questions and give us feedback about the CAHPS survey. Please tell us what is working for you and what's not. You can send us a question or comment through the chat box, as Kara mentioned before, in the WebEx feature, so please use that today. We don't mind questions at all. We understand that the CAHPS survey is only one small part of your agency's quality improvement system, but we're here to help you make that the best it can be. So just to clarify, if you're listening and watching, you are a current Pinnacle client who has the product Home Health CAHPS surveys, Hospice CAHPS surveys, or both. And this discussion will be focused on the CAHPS surveys today, CAHPS. As you listen and apply what you hear, love your feedback again, and we learn from your experiences. As an account manager, I hear from you, and I hear directly from your patients about the experiences that you're having, problems and successes. I see trends across agencies, and I can help you find solutions to the problems that you might be having. So next, I'd like to start out with a couple short announcements. Today was the deadline for the Home Health CAHPS quarterly data, and for all of our home health clients that has been successfully submitted, you can log into your Home Health CAHPS survey website and double check. And for hospice, your preview report is ready to view. Now, just a reminder, the preview report is what goes into Hospice Compare next month. So you can see the scores before they show live next month. And next, this is a good reminder. Make sure before you send us the monthly export, you take a moment and open the file and review the data. Most of it is going to be just fine, but it's always good because software vendors do make updates, especially concerning some payment issues this year. So make sure that everything is as it should look. We are receiving files without a language specified, and that means if a patient or caregiver needs us to contact them in a language other than English, like Spanish or Russian, we are missing an opportunity to reach them. If we can initiate the call in the suggested language, then the interview process goes much more smoothly. So again, make sure your software has a language field and make sure you are using it. All right, that's all the announcements. I'm going to direct you to the official CAHPS websites as usual, the place to find the up-to-date announcements concerning the surveys and participation requirements, and there's some training materials on there. So take a note of these and check them at least twice a month for anything concerning the CAHPS surveys. For home health, it is homehealth.CAHPS.org. And for hospice, it's hospice CAHPS, CAHPS, survey.org. You'll see all the important dates that you need and when you can check your preview report. As I mentioned before about the hospice, that one is available. Also, if you have any complaints, questions, or comments how to improve the CAHPS survey, you need to contact these CAHPS survey teams. They listen and they respond. I've contacted them several times, and the more feedback you provide, the better they can make the survey for you. So let's do a quick poll to get things rolling. I'm going to give you a few seconds to answer this question. What part of the country does your agency operate? So we have Western, Midwestern, Eastern, or Southern. Let's make sure that the poll question is up on the screen. Kara's going to help
Sorry,
us with
Angel.
that.
Just a second.
Yeah, she's going to get the polling on the screen.
Just a second.
It's coming, I promise. I'm sure you know where you are.
You know what? It is not here. I'm sorry. I will get the next one up, but it's not here right now.
We'll be prepared for the next one. So just so you're familiar, Pinnacle's office is in the Western region in Utah, and we have clients in all 50 states in the United States. Now, as before, with previous Lunch with Angels, we're going to continue to build on the foundation that was set at the very first Lunch with Angel way back in August of last year. When we had the webinar that was 7 points for improving patient satisfaction. If you missed any of the previous webinars, you can watch and listen by going to Pinnacle's support website. And there you will see sections called Overview, Quick Start, Courses, and Best Practices. And the webinar links can be found on the Overview page and will take you to Pinnacle's YouTube channel. So let me remind you of the 7 points for improving patient satisfaction. Treat everyone with importance. Explain to the fourth, exceed expectations, lose weight, of course we're talking about wait time, making lemonade from lemons, bragging right, and investing in your employees. Hopefully you have heard me give this training before, and if not, I'm not going to go into detail on any of these this time, but today's focus on systems may touch on several of these points because a system can be implemented in any aspect of your work. So be sure you have these as a foundation and integrate these into your agency's culture. So now, are you ready? Get a pen and notebook handy or an online document to take notes. I'm going to ask a lot of questions today. Things are going to come to your mind. You're not going to remember everything. It's okay. Write them down. You'll find areas you want to improve. So, what is a system? I have a few definitions for you here. When you learn the definition of a concept, you can start learning how it fits into your perspective in your life. So I wanted to present you with these definitions. First definition is a set of things working together as parts of a mechanism or an interconnected network. Next definition, a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done, an organized framework or method. And then the last definition is a routine performed consistently. Now, I hope you're noticing the bolded words in these definitions and the underlined parts. That's just how I make notes. Let's change the word things in the first definition to people. People working together as part of an interconnected network. What does this look like in your agency? Does this describe you? Can you say that your workflow performs well? If you're thinking of a specific problem right now, write it down. Now, in the second definition, think about how your agency's culture, those principles, is integrated into the procedures that everyone follows. Let me share an example with you from Pinnacle. Our motto is "People are our purpose." And to fulfill that motto, it's part of my responsibilities to take time each day to reach out to clients proactively and discuss with them their CAHPS surveys and any questions or needs they may have regarding the service. So what does that look like for your specific job? Are you integrating your company motto into your daily routine? And what is one specific way that you do this or you want to start doing it? All right, got your pencil handy, write it down. If you're missing a culture or strong identity in your agency, it must be built. If your agency's procedures are not crystal clear to every person, especially we're talking about contracted employees, then you may lack the structure that defines your agency. When your agency culture is defined well and everyone acts accordingly, your agency becomes known for acting a certain way, hopefully having a good reputation. Now, take heed if you don't have a strong culture or have someone that insists on acting outside of your culture, then your agency can be known unfavorably, and that's called having a bad reputation. If this is a problem area for you, write it down. Last definition, let's dive into that. It states that a system is a routine. Once a routine is created, learned, and perfected, you will reap the benefits. We're talking higher scores, right? So let's take a look at how that can work. This is a model of how to build a step-by-step system. What's an area in your agency that needs a system or has a system that already in place that you'd like to update? First, take a good look at where you are now. This is the clear picture of where you are and a clear picture, of where you want to go. Note what you want to accomplish, what resources you have available. When I say resources, I'm talking about people, computers, anything that can help you accomplish that goal. And then finally, what obstacles do you need to overcome? So the system you could be thinking about is how you conduct an IDT or a plan of care meeting. It could be how you hire and train employees. And since we're talking about the CAHPS survey, it could be how you choose a quality improvement goal and follow up on results. Pick an area right now that's not working or you want to develop and write it down. Go ahead, get that pen moving. Now here's where you label all the moving parts and put the pieces in order. Create the new system. It takes research, and this step doesn't happen in a day or week. This can take weeks or months to label the moving pieces and put them together in that right order. Once you have that system created, it's on to the testing and perfecting stage. Again, this is a learning phase on what is working and what isn't working and still takes time to develop. You can call this a beta phase because you have much of the structure in place, but may still need to make those minor adjustments or fine-tuning some of the different steps in your system. Once you have that system that's tested and perfected, it's time to teach and train others in your agency. If only one person knows the system and that person is gone, so is that system. Cross-training is key to keeping an agency's systems alive and working. Now, lastly, reviewing your results means that you're checking your system on a regular basis to make sure it's accomplishing what it's designed to do. In CAHPS world, this means that you are reviewing your scores and you're seeing improvements or you're finding ways you need to continue to improve. So here comes a warning. All too often, when there is a system in place, the danger in human nature is to become complacent. The system can become mundane and boring, and then people no longer want to perform all the steps or they don't perform the steps well. Replace complacency with interest. You want to keep your systems fresh and update them often. It may be that your system isn't broken completely. You just need to put some life back into it. So let's do some brainstorming here. Think about your agency systems. You have human resources systems for hiring, training, terminating. You have your own personal daily routine or system that you complete your workload and your daily responsibilities. You have your department routine where you meet once a week to discuss patient needs and set a process of what to discuss during this meeting. What is your system for notifying the patient when the caregiver cannot come or it is delayed? What is your system for ordering supplies to prevent under or overstock? How do you handle patient requests like ordering those supplies, wheelchairs, bathroom shower fixtures, safety equipment, wound care? Are your partners or other vendors working well with you in your system? I hope you're getting a lot of ideas coming to you. And how are patients notified when the staff member is changing? A comment I hear really often is, we didn't know that this person was coming. It's always been so-and-so as our nurse, and then someone came new. I've even heard that patients will reject a person at the door because they didn't know that they were coming. Some people, you need to be aware, that's how they function. So take a moment and think about your system for quality improvement. Is it easy to understand and follow by your employees? After today's discussion, you really may wind up with more questions than answers, so feel free to let me know what your thoughts are. What is working and what is flopped? We're here to help you in your system for quality improvement. One area you may not have thought of is a backup plan. When you're unavailable, who takes your place in an emergency? Now, this is a really simple system that I saw someone do this week. And it is as simple as an out-of-office email that someone set up. And this is the example. So when I emailed them, they let me know they were out of the office. They let me know when they would be back. And if it was an emergency, I could text them. And if not, or there are other questions I had, I could reach out to so-and-so for intake or discharge questions, or I could reach this person for medical review issues, or I could reach that person for scheduling or other questions that I had. And so systems don't need to be complicated or have a lot of steps, but they need to be well thought out and planned. So I hope I'm giving you a lot to think about. Let's take a brain break and do a quick poll. Are you ready, Kara? So since it's January, you all may have resolutions on your mind. How many New Year's resolutions do you make? None, 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 or more. So I read an article, the top resolutions for 2020, according to the website StepbyStep, are to become a vegetarian or vegan, cut down on alcohol, spending less time on social media, reducing stress on the job. And I found that interesting because that was the replacement. Last year, it was to find a new job. I thought that was interesting. Another top 2020 resolution is to quit smoking, improve performance on the job, to live more economically, to spend more time with family and friends, to lose weight, exercise more, and the top goal for 2020, ready, is to eat healthier. There we go. So Kara, do we have some results now?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. All right, yeah, we do have some results. So it looks like 15% said none, and 85% said 1 to 5, and we have 0% for the other categories.
Nice. All right. I think 1 to 5 would be our top pick. And that's kind of what I head for. If I have one main goal for the year, I'm doing pretty good. All the other things I get to do in my life, it can be stressful. So thanks for having fun with me on that poll. Okay. Next part I wanted to get into is I make sure your slide is up. Okay. Now that we've talked about engaging systems for your agency, I want to introduce you to some tools to help you with the CAHPS process. The first one is the Pinnacle Survey Memo. This is a tool in the system to help you increase your response rate. It is a memo or letter to distribute to patients and caregivers to prepare them for the survey and help them understand the importance of participating. Now here's what the home health memo or letter looks like. You can add this to the admission or intake packets, and you can also give them out during their ongoing care. And this helps remind them of the importance of participating in the survey. So we've included the phone number that will come up on the caller ID when we are calling. It's the 1-877-308-3844. It helps the patients feel safe to answer the phone since they will be able to identify when we're calling. And the more you emphasize this phone number to patients and caregivers, you can even program it in their phone so they know it's Pinnacle, the more they know you want them to take the survey, and the better your response rate will be. If a respondent or you call this hotline number, you can verify that it is Pinnacle and leave a message for us to contact them if they have a question about the survey. And next here is the Pinnacle Survey Memo for Hospice. There is a different number for the hospice hotline. It's 1-888-444-9961. And you may print this on your own letterhead and also have the administrator or the director of your agency sign the letter at the bottom. And again, it just emphasizes the validity of this survey. Letters are available in English and Spanish and even Russian for home health. And keep in mind, for hospice, you may not send the family memo to the caregiver after the patient has expired. Both of these documents are downloadable on our support website, and you can always email me and request a copy of them. The next tool I'd like to cover with you is the staff training checklist. Pinnacle developed this checklist for you to use to make sure that your patients receive the care that will be outlined in the surveys. The checklist ties directly back to the survey questions. So to effectively use this checklist, it must be used every time, not just first visit, but continuing visits with the patient and their family members. And again, these documents are available on our support website and can be emailed to you. And once you have them, print them out, laminate them, or include them with patient charts. You can even make a digital version so that you can track if these have been completed by the caregivers that are doing that one-on-one contact with the patients. Using this checklist provides accountability so you know that the caregiver has made the visit and that they've covered all the important areas in the checklist. You can change a checkbox to fit your specific needs, especially concerning the ultimate goal, where you are always wanting to communicate in a timely manner, or especially on evenings and weekends and holidays. That's a question that will come up during the CAHPS survey. And when you're meeting with your staff and you see that communication is an area that needs improvement, make that specific goal, change it, always communicate to, this is what we're going to do for this goal, okay? And your goals are gonna look different for every agency. It's really hard for me to say, this is how you need to perform. This is exactly what you need to do, because every patient base is individual. And every provider is individual, and it takes each of you making your best effort as a provider to meet the needs of the patient that is going to make this work the best. So using the checklist can help you improve your scores, because you'll make sure that you're covering items that, so for example, medications. It will help you remember to talk about pain and certain things that I know the visits can be hurried sometimes, and they need to be covered every time, even if it's just a quick check. It also, the checklist helps you remember to tell every patient that there will be a survey, that it's a government survey, and it means a lot for them to complete the survey. If you have any questions about using the checklist specifically, you can schedule a webinar with our team for more training. And if you're already using this system, ask yourself, how are the patients treated during the process of the checkbox? That's what really is going to make or break the recommend question. You may perform perfectly and do everything step by step, but it's really boils down to how are the patients treated during the visit and during all of these questions they're asked. Another way to use a system is to find specific focus areas for your quality improvement meetings. That's your QAPI or your HQRP meetings, where you're finding ways to improve your CAHPS scores. So this next slide helps you outline some ways that are really important to put into your system. Make sure you adapt your focus area for at least a 3-month time frame. So a quarter is how your scores are reported online, a rolling quarter. So this is a good time frame to track. Sometimes a month of information may be too specific, and that 3-month time frame. And I recommend using your Pinnacle reports over your home health compare or hospice compare scores, because your Pinnacle reports will come, the information is timelier. You should be aware of what your compare scores are, but by the time they reach online, you're talking about behaviors from your agency that happened months and months ago. So use your Pinnacle reports to in your quality improvement areas. The next thing that's really important to have in your system is to write the focus area on a board or poster that is visual. The visual can disrupt and remind everybody that this is what they need to be working on. And also put your starting percentage and your goal percentage. When you have a specific target, then it's better to increase the measure. People know what their target is. You need to define how much you want to increase the score in that 3-month time period. The next thing is creating action items. Without action, there is no change. So you could say, yes, we want to increase our CAHPS scores, but if you don't have specific action items, how you want to do that, you're not going to see very much change. So you can use comments from your Pinnacle reports to find areas to create action. Again, I'm gonna harp on communication. Going back to patients not knowing when you will be there, make a specific goal to be communicating or texting everybody when you're 5 minutes away. And whether that is done by the caregiver or the office can keep track of that, that's going to look different for each of your agencies, but find out some action items that you can take. Now, you do need to keep track of your progress monthly, and as part of that, recognize your employees. People are being mentioned by name in the surveys, and this is a great way to keep your employees engaged and motivated, because they are working their hearts out. They really are, and they need to be recognized. And I've heard of some great systems that are implemented out there. If you've done something for a while, take it to the next level. This year is going to be challenging with the increase of patients that need care and the challenge of hiring employees. Do what you can to hold on to your good working people. All right, so lastly, systems help you become someone your employees and patients can count on. When you are reliable and consistently provide the best patient care possible, this is why I'm harping on systems today. So as an overview, you should have written down some areas of concern that you'd like to apply a new system or refine a current system. Take your notes to your team and work together to improve your CAHPS scores. Well, thank you so much for spending a lunchtime with me today. Kara, do we have any questions in the queue?
Yeah, we do. Thank you so much, Angel, for that. One of our questions is there going to be a PDF sent out with this this presentation?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Go ahead. You want to answer?
No, I know. You answer. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, as Kara mentioned at the beginning, those who have registered will respond to that registration with a link to the webinar in case you missed anything, but also the documents are PDF and we can send those to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angel. We have a couple more, and feel free to ask any other questions. This is a great time to ask any questions that have come up for you. We are a small agency. Do we have to participate in the CAHPS survey? I know that's a question you get a lot.
Yes, it is, and especially rolling around to the new year and deciding if the surveys are worth it or not. So if you are a certain size and the size requirements, I'll refer you back to the Home Health or Hospice CAHPS website. It depends on how many eligible CAHPS survey patients you have per year. So it is worth taking a look to make sure you participate or you file your annual exemption form. So really feel free. I posted my phone number and email up there. If you have a more specific question about participation, please let me know.
Okay, I think that's all the questions we have, unless anyone wants to pop in and ask one last question. I will just kind of wrap up while I give you a second to ask any other questions. We want to really thank you for attending this session with Angel. And if you have any other questions, like Angel said, you can email her and we'll get that recording out to you. So keep an eye out for that email in your inbox. And we look forward to another Q&A. We're going to have one in April. And like I mentioned earlier, we will pick a winner from the registered participants and email you if you've won. And thanks again for attending. I don't think we have any other questions, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up. And thank you so much. We really value our clients, and we want to be as helpful as we can and give you the kind of resources you need to succeed. So thank you so much for attending.